Mediaweek.
Hello and welcome to the program. Ahead, we'll take a look at Fairfax Radio's cricket deal with Harvey Norman. Plus, Daily Mail reports ad revenues up close to 50%. More details on that shortly. But first, News Corp Australia has launched its Access One advertising product for its new Metropolitan masthead apps. It's being described by the company as a bold Australian first that should lift campaign effectiveness if the UK experience is anything to go by. So let's find out more. We're joined by Neil Robinson, Director of Digital Sales at News Corp Australia, in the studio with us, and of course our co-host James Manning, editor and publisher of Mediaweek, is here as well. Welcome to the program. Neil, so I guess just start with telling us, because Access One obviously launched this week, tell us a bit about it and what it offers advertisers.
Firstly, I think it's automatically lifts over any print ads into our tablet masthead apps, which is an amazing opportunity for us because it actually takes the print product and reimagines it effectively into a digital format. For an advertiser, I think you've got amazing benefits to lift effectiveness, lift quality, and lift creativity. And when you've got a consumer engagement which is really, really strong, that's going to drive better results. So.
Is this the missing link that you guys have needed for a little while to really give a kickstart to those sort of digital ad revenues? Yes. Look, to be honest, it's one component of our digital strategy. So I wouldn't say it's the missing link, but it really does seamlessly lift over our printed asset and really allow that to sing in a digital world. Yeah.
And you mentioned there, of course, it's all about audience engagement, obviously, and these apps should increase that, right, across multiple touch points?
Look, absolutely. Part of our subscription package to our consumers is very much about making sure we own that sort of consumer throughout the day. And on that basically allows an advertiser to engage with that consumer across those touch points. Great for consumers, great for advertisers, and helps our corporate strategy of owning the day.
Well, tell us a little bit about that, though. So does an advertiser come in, then do they need to buy two ads, the print ad and this, to get on the tablet? Or does there one deal? If you buy a print ad, you automatically get on the tablet now?
No, it's called Access One for one reason. One bit of copy. We repurpose it, we make sure it sings in a digital world, and if we want to enhance it, we can do. So it's one lift over.
Yeah, and one price?
One price for anything that's static. So that's the beauty for an advertiser, it's one transaction. And if we want to enhance it, we can do, and we should in a digital world, because the expectations of a digital consumer is that everything is a little bit more interactive, whether it's a call to action, whether it's a little bit of a product show reel, whether it's catalogues. There's a lot of interaction we can build into the app. And that's where we think the opportunity is to really enhance the experience for the consumers.
Yeah. Neil, PwC forecasts that global digital ad revenue will only account for less than 20% of newspaper revenue, ad revenue by 2018. Do you think you guys will do better than that?
Yes, I do. I'm very confident we do. We've had some really impressive results in our digital revenues over the last couple of years, and you've been watching SMI, I'm sure, if you're looking at the PwC reports. News has really outperformed the market as a premium publisher. And I think this can only add to our portfolio of digital product. Interestingly, we're making it very, very easy. And I want to re-emphasise that point. It's a very easy transaction for advertisers to use our digital product and extend their print campaigns.
Do you think there's any advertisers who've maybe haven't been using your print products as much as they could, say they thought they were missing out on your digital audience, and this might motivate them into going, OK, I should be back in this newspaper space?
Definitely, yeah. Early conversations with clients in certain categories. Retail has always been strong, but auto and travel, this really gives us a nice opportunity to actually bring them back into the print asset, but also allows them to extend into the tablet. And I think those conversations we've had early on are proving that this is the solution that they need.
Can you just explain what the tablet ad experience will be like for a person using these apps and the tablet edition of the papers?
So we've thought long and hard exactly how they should operate. And if you think of the consumer experience reading a newspaper, a very linear experience. You turn over, you turn over, you turn over. We've created exactly the same experience for the consumer in the tablet. Now, to your question, what's the ad experience out of that? We've followed exactly the same process. So the placement, if you're the first ad in the paper, will be the first ad in the tablet. So any of our premium advertisers who want to be right up front there in the paper format will have the same experience in the tablet.
Now, does this coincide with some new versions of your tablet apps for the different mastheads around the country? So some of them are a little bit different, aren't they? I mean, the experience reading the Herald Sun on tablet is a bit different to the Daily Tally. And
yeah, look, we've thought about that long and hard, and in May we relaunched our subscription offer from News Plus to Masthead Plus, which brings out the local kind of affinity that our brands have in the respective markets. We think there is a localisation of the apps, the tablet apps, that needs definitely to be there. But if you're building the digital product, there needs to be some degree of synergy between the product experience, which is the same. So we think we've sort of compromised by extracting the local brand, which is really important, but also making sure the experience is as seamless as possible, so we don't have to complicate the production process too much.
Mobile's, though, been pretty challenging for publishers in terms of selling ads. Your mobile numbers, though, are growing quite quickly. What's behind that? What's the strategy in chasing those ad dollars?
Really good question. I don't think any publisher's doing it amazingly well. We have seen some impressive growth figures, and we've got a big network, so you'd assume those two things are related. Our success has largely been around the big creative product portfolio we've got in our mobile asset base. I think we have the most diverse digital ad product spectrum across the network, and that's really working. But have we cracked it? Probably not. We're seeing a lot of success from some call-to-action advertisers. So Harvey Norman have done a recent interest-free campaign with us, and that seems to have generated some great results for them, and they're coming back to work with us about how we can iterate that across the next year. With brand, we've got a bit of work to do, but I think with the creative executions that we're bringing as part of our portfolio, that's probably going to help us get to where we need to be.
you look after digital sales. I think you've got a strategy in your title somewhere as well.
I have.
And when you sit around the table with your colleagues and you talk about the future, I mean, Ingrid, we're seeing the new iPhones out, bigger screen.
Yep.
There's sort of emerging the tablets. A tablet's here to stay, do you think, or is it people going to be getting a big phone and that might do them? Mm-hmm. And does that come into your planning? Do you look at things like that? Yeah,
you have to evolve the proposition according to the device. Tablets are definitely here to stay. There's no question about it. It's an essential part of Australians' consumption habits. Mm-hmm. And what's really interesting is that actually it's extending the consumption across the day. You would know that actually news consumption is on the rise. There's more websites, there's more content, but consumption, there's a real thirst for it. We've just got to make sure our content, our great content, is where consumers are. And if that means bigger devices, we'll go there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because News Corp CEO Julian Clark talked about reversing the centralised ad model this week and the effect that it's had on revenues. Yep. Is that new model all settled now? Are advertisers happy? Advertisers are very happy. We've got a business that people sometimes misunderstand, but 50% of our ad revenues are actually from our local advertisers. And we've just got to keep evolving to what they need. And, if we need to build stronger propositions for our local advertisers, we'll do that. Mm. That's part of our business of working in a service-orientated industry. And on that point, what's been behind the sort of moderation of the slowdown in advertising? Because we've certainly been seeing that over the past sort of 6 months. Look, there's probably an inertia in the market. A lot of people trying to understand which horse they should back, I guess. It doesn't affect, it affects everyone, to be honest, to a certain degree. But I'm really encouraged by some recent campaigns that we probably haven't seen, where people are actually coming back to wanting to try new things, big campaigns that perhaps have been taking a bit of a time to decide. So I'm very, very hopeful that the market will continue to evolve. We just have to evolve quicker with it. I think that's probably the lesson. And when you mention local, yes, you're talking about local agency as opposed to local direct, or both? Or? A combination of both. Yeah. It's horses for courses. I know it's a bit of a phrase, but effectively local advertising as opposed to the big national brands that the national teams look after. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's interesting stuff, isn't it? Yeah, Neil Robinson, we'll actually have to leave it there, but thank you so much for joining us today, Head of Digital Sales at News Corp Australia. We do have to take a quick break on Mediaweek, but coming up, Fairfax Media does a big deal with Harvey Norman. We'll bring you details on that next.